What is astronomy versus alternative astronomy? Words have meaning more than just how you'll find them defined in any dictionary today. And that's not just because the words that we use change meaning over time. It's because many times new discoveries, even if they're of much older things, require us either to redefine a word in light of the new discovery, or the new discovery will require us to create a new word altogether to define it. A new word that doesn't yet exist in the dictionary when you go to look it up. Now, because of the discoveries we made, we also find ourselves here in this cool place where we're pioneering a new field of study, and that also requires defining it. So we've looked at several places at this point, and we have yet to find alternative astronomy in any dictionary, so we may be among the first to actually define it. So that's pretty exciting, right? At least for nerdy pants people like I am. And they tell you that there's nothing new under the sun. Well, that all depends on how you're looking at it, as we're learning more about here. So what we're going to do is start out looking quickly at 3 dictionary definitions of the word astronomy to start with, to find out exactly why we are going to need another term. All right, so we're going to start with the Free Dictionary. Astronomy defined there is the branch of science which deals with the celestial objects, space, and the physical universe as a whole. Merriam-Webster defines astronomy this way: the study of objects and matter outside the Earth's atmosphere and of their physical and chemical properties. And when you scroll down through Merriam-Webster's definition of astronomy, you also get this little blurb asking about what the difference is between astronomy and astrology. And I'm going to read it here because we're going to revisit this down the road as well. So Merriam-Webster says the difference between astronomy and astrology: at one time these words were actually synonymous. That is, astronomy once meant what astrology means today. But they have since moved apart from each other. In current use, astronomy is concerned with the study of objects and matter outside the Earth's atmosphere, while astrology is the purported divination of how stars and planets influence our lives. Put bluntly, astronomy is a science, and astrology is not. We're going to get back to this down the road and in just a second here, but let's see our 3rd dictionary definition of the word astronomy. From Cambridge, they define it as the scientific study of the universe and objects that exist naturally in space, such as the moon, the sun, planets, and stars. Now, we find the word science in these dictionary definitions, and I think in the mental concepts that most people think about when hearing the word astronomy. So let's look specifically at what Merriam-Webster has to say about their definition of science, because this is going to take us in an interesting direction. Merriam-Webster defines science. The first definition given is the state of knowing, knowledge as distinguished from ignorance or misunderstanding. The second definition offered is, I think, what most people today think of when they hear the word science: a department of systematized knowledge as an object of study. The third definition of science Merriam-Webster offers us is knowledge or a system of knowledge covering general truths or the operation of general laws, especially as obtained and vetted through scientific method. And the fourth definition, a system or method reconciling practical ends with scientific laws. And for example they give is cooking is both a science and an art. All right, but I think what's happened in our current culture, really all over Earth, I don't think this is just here in my specific culture, what would be called American culture. There exists this split between science and art and how they are viewed. Very much like what we were already exposed to with the Merriam-Webster definition when they were talking about the differences between astrology and astronomy. So let's look at the definition Merriam-Webster has to offer us then about the word art. Number 1, it's a skill acquired by experience, study, or observation. 2, a branch of learning. 3, an occupation requiring knowledge or skill. 4, the conscious use of skill and creative imagination, especially in the production of aesthetic objects. I think this 4th definition is what most people think of with their mental conception when they hear the word art. You can comment below whether you agree or not. The 5th definition says it's an archaic one for the term art, meaning a skillful plan. That's interesting. And number 6 is decorative or illustrative elements in printed matter. So that's interesting to me that it specifically mentions printed matter. But again, just comparing science and art in those two definitions, there's not much difference between them, as you can see in how they're defined. And at first glance, it would also seem as if what we're learning here at Stars Near Me might fit the definitions of astronomy that we've just looked at. Yet anyone who looks up anything about astronomy today will return not just this definition, but the model and the story that goes with it, right? So lots of images and graphics that look like these. And we've talked about this before, but I want you to think about now how these kinds of images and graphics and the stories that go with them impact down the road the mental images that are called up that most people are seeing in their mind's eye when they hear the word astronomy today. So what I want to do at this point is take a look even deeper at the origins of the word astronomy, because things are even more interesting when we investigate the etymology or the origin of the word astronomy. So according to Etymology Online, astronomy, astrology, scientific or occult study of heavenly bodies. Astronomy, astrology, from Old French and from Latin, literally, quote, star regulating, unquote, from astron, star, plus nomos, quote, arranging, regulating, rule, law. Now we're really getting down to it. So you might then say that what we're talking about here is the occult study of star law as a much more accurate description of what we're learning here at Stars Near Me. So this is the reason that we need a different definition, because although we're studying what you could think of as real astronomy, it's alternative to the systems or the models that have been designed to teach what is called astronomy today, and the mental images that are being called up in most people's mind's eye when they think about this word. So yes, we're using the scientific method here to guide us in testing out repeatedly our discoveries, the results of which continually contradict much of what is being taught as science in places like schools in our modern day. This is the reason we need a different definition. So for our beginning process at defining alternative astronomy here, we can say that it is the study of the law of the celestial luminaries and their connection to the stories and events that affect beings that live on the earth. It's both a science and an art. Now we can look at the difference between astrology and astronomy in a future video. And for more information, you can check out our website, starsnearme.com. Get signed up there for a private email list. If you're in the mood to shop, you can find plenty of cool alternative astronomy things on our website as well. Everything is down in the description in the links, or you can just type in starsnearme.com in your browser to check out our space. Give this vid a like if you liked it. That little thumbs up, that love does help to extend our reach, and it is appreciated. And with all of that, I think we've gotten a good start on defining what is alternative astronomy and what it is we're learning about here. So I think that's a good place to end this one. So until next time, stay lit and be well.